Hi, Genki Call here with your Soulforge offerings for the week of January 16th, 2022. Now, before we go over what's in here, there's some good stuff, but let me go over the list from King Ollie because these are the mythics that are remaining in this Soulforge cycle. Many thanks to King Ollie for putting this together every week. Viking Iron Gut is here. Mistralis is here. The Scourge of Honor is here. These are everything you see here on these two columns are upcoming within the next 8 weeks, and it may be next week that the mythic you want the most is coming up, and it could be 8 weeks from now. There's just no telling, so keep this list in mind when you're deciding whether or not to craft this week. So let's go over what we've got in the Soulforge right now. Web Spinner is amazing. This is a summons the most powerful summons in the team for Arachnean Weaver, and what makes it so powerful is this. It inflicts web when doing skull damage, and it deals triple skull damage to poisoned and or webbed enemies. Ha! And he poisons. You know, if you can't do the web, you could do the poison. Generally, you put him up at the front of the team. You don't worry about the spell and don't ever cast it. He's there because he does massive damage with skulls. However, he will not do this if you don't own him. You can summon him in, but he won't have any of the traits. So keep that in mind. Also, 800 diamonds. Eeks! Gorgotha is a fantastic mana generator that sits at the front of the team. Skull damage reduction by 75%. And he cleanses himself. So if he gets entangled, he gets frozen, whatever, as soon as he casts, it goes away. So he's going to clear the board of gems and get lots of mana for your team, cleanse himself, and have that skull damage reduction. It's great. He's really a great troop, and he's my favorite to run with the Wild King. I have a fantastic Wild King team I don't think I've made a video for yet. Next up is Artema. I actually think she's underrated. She explodes a row, deals damage to the two weakest enemy with a boost if you have other centaurs with you. Really good for um, events, especially. But also, she has a 50% chance to do true damage with her skulls, and she has a 40% chance to dodge skull damage. So she's great to run at the front of the team. Gets +3 to all skills, so this number will be higher. All of these numbers will be higher. I just really like this troop. Would I spend 800 diamonds on her? No, because she's very situational, whether or not you're going to actually use her. It just depends on the situation. You just won't pull her out that often, but she is a good troop. Glaceon, this guy is nearly a mythic. He has a 20 mana cost, which is pretty high for a legendary. Transforms yellow gems to blue, red gems to doom skulls, and freezes the strongest enemy with 65% skull damage reduction. He's just a really, really strong troop. It's just that the 20 mana cost is a little off-putting, but he's still a really good troop. All right, let's get to the mythics. Oh, I got some good stuff in here. So the Sycorax. He's a troll. He's basically just a troll. Double chosen color gem on the board, then create 3 more. Very standard, but he also gives life to all allies of that color, making him really great to run on a team with green, blue, or brown because he can keep feeding right into himself and loop and loop and loop and loop. And plus um, you're making all of your teammates stronger when you do it. He's a really, really good troop. Slow, but a good troop. And elemental allies gain attack and armor at the start of the turn. And immunities. The immunities are really very helpful. Always here. Pan, I like Pan a lot. Does damage to the... I'm sorry, I have to cough. Damage to 3 random enemies and knocks them to the back. He's impervious, super nice, and all wild folk ally gain 1 life and magic when matching 4+ gems, which makes him great to run with Queen Beatrix, who is a wild folk. King Solanus would give the team a 50% mana start, but, you know, I generally prefer just to use my handy-dandy leprechaun for that, just to get that fast mana. But that's just me. always here, always here. Mithrilian, two more. Mithrilian's okay. Explodes a block, a 3x3 block. So he's taking out a 5x5 block because it's an explosion. Gains a bunch of armor, barriers a random ally for every skull destroyed. Super nice, but you know, he's got this 24 mana cost. He does reflect 25% of skull damage, which makes it great to let them hit you. Even if you're barriered, it's still going to reflect the skull damage, I believe. And spell damage reduction as well. Lastly, we have Arch Proxy Yvendra. Ah, Yvendra. Converts all yellow gems to Uber Doom skulls. That's plus 10. Plus 10 skulls. Not just Doom skulls, they're Uber Doom skulls. And she curses webs and poisons the strongest enemy. She's the only troop in the team that can conjure an Uber Doom skull, which she will do when an enemy dies. Spell damage reduction. Cool artwork. Love Yvendra. And she has just been buffed because they reduced her mana cost as well when they did the rework for Zulkari. So that is it for the troops. Next up, we'll go over the weapons. So, dum 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 dum. Always here, always here, always here. Doomed Cauldron. Give all allies life plus 2 per tempering level. And give all other allies except yourself 5 mana. So, you know, it's a weapon. It's a weapon that gives life and mana, but the cost is a little prohibitive. Also, you know, generally speaking, I don't recommend crafting these to get your power levels up for the weapons because you have to fully temper them, and that's really hard to do with doomed weapons, except now we have um, the forge orbs, so that makes it a little bit easier, but it's still going to take some time. I really recommend doing the ones that create Doom Skulls first. Anyway, I will continue the Grasping Grimoire. This can be fun. Damage to an enemy boosted by Mystic allies, then create a mix of 6 yellow and purple gems for each Mystic ally. I like to run this with Medea and Luna. Luna uses the yellow, Medea uses purple. It's just, it's fun. It's something different, and I do enjoy that. Next up, we've got the Staff of the Otherworlds. Damage to an enemy boosted by Karakoth, specifically Karakoth allies. And create a mix of 6 purple and brown gems for each Karakoth ally. How often do you run a Karakoth team? Not very often. If you're going to choose one of these, I would definitely go in for the Grasping Grimoire instead. Next up, we have the Internal Volg, who is a boost to demon allies. You know, the other one's for mystics, this one's for demons. Also a fun weapon to use. Creates a mix of 6 red and purple gems for each demon ally. Next up is one of the cheap ones. Very good to grab if you're worried about needing it for power levels. Remove all purple gems. Deny that color to your enemy. You won't get anything out of it except it will boost your spell. And if the enemies from Karakoth or the battle in Karakoth do double damage. And I think that is it. Yes, it is. All right, Soulforge video complete. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.